Classic Series action figure review of 2011. Today I'm looking at the brand new Classic Series exclusive from Forbidden Planet and Underground Toys, which is the Resurrection of the Daleks set from Peter Davison's final season. This was due out a few weeks ago, but there's been a lot of trouble, I think at customs or something, I don't know. So the set was delayed by a few weeks, but it's finally here now. And so let's take a look at the figures in this set. So we have a new variant of the Fifth Doctor, our very first Davros, the Terry Malloy version, the black and white Supreme Dalek, and your General Dalek from that story as well. So all brand new figures, or, well, repaints really, apart from Davros. So I'll very quickly just sort of go through most of them. Davros is, of course, the most interesting of the new figures. So the Fifth Doctor in this set is Peter Davison's final outfit that he wore. So it's the green shirt, trim around the collar, the thicker piping on the jumper, and the different trousers. And of course they've given him the celery as well. So that means every major variant of Peter Davison has now been released. So it is really just a repaint, and if you've got the Caves of Androzani Regeneration 6th Doctor, you have seen this figure before, but that was obviously covered in lots of mud. So the articulation is the same as the normal 5th Doctor figures. My only issue with my version of this figure is somehow you can't really see it so well on camera. If I just zoom in, he's got red paint all under his arm. Not quite sure how they managed to paint under there, but there we go. It's alright, you can't really see it, it gets covered up. But otherwise, a nice variant. Glad to see this. The only thing, of course, is the jumper is just the same jumper from the previous Fifth Doctor figures. Really, it should be a new sculpt because the pattern of the knit of the jumper is very different. It's a lot thicker, I believe. So that is my only quibble, but to be honest, it's not really anything to worry about. So that's the Fifth Doctor. Next, I shall very quickly show you the new Supreme Dalek. I've always liked this version of the Supreme Dalek in that story. First of all, the eye stalk is, of course, new. It's new due to the fact... Just get that, there we go. It's new due to the fact that the discs are different and more spaced out, and the eye at the front is a smaller pupil, and the iris around it is a lot smaller. The dome lights are new as well. These now have little ridges in, which is more accurate to this model of Dalek, and in actual fact, the Destiny Daleks and the Renegade Daleks from the Remembrance set should have actually had these dome lights, but to be honest, it wasn't a real major change. But it's nice to see that they've added that extra element, which was something I wasn't really expecting. So, other than that, it is your General Dalek base, just repainted in a black gloss and white hemispheres, with all the normal movement. So a very nice variant to have, and one that I've been waiting for quite a while. Next, the sort of your General Dalek here, your generic model. It's actually sort of a bluey grey. Now, if I was watching the story, I would never have said that these Daleks were blue. I'd have kind of said they were probably the same sort of colour, maybe a bit lighter than the Genesis Daleks, but not as light as the Destiny models. However, you know, it doesn't look too bad. It works okay. It, again, has the new eye stalk and the new dome lights, and it's a nice figure. However, my one has been caught by the demon that is quality control. Now, I know I mentioned quality control on my Remembrance of the Daleks set. I had a lot of criticism for people basically saying, stop being such a fussy git. Well, I am a bit of a fussy git, but you can't blame me when the silly sods at Character Options didn't paint half of my Dalek shoulder section. As you can see, only the front half of the trim has been painted black. That is quite annoying, because it means I now have to go and paint this black myself. So that was really the only quality control issue with this one, but it was quite a big one, so I think you can cut me some slack. It wasn't like a bit of paint bleed or whatever. This was some silly sod at the factory just skipped this through and missed it. To be fair, I've had this in the house for about half an hour or more, and I didn't notice it, and I only sat down before doing this review and I sort of went, oh, hang on a minute, that doesn't look quite right. And of course, the figure that we've all been waiting for quite a while, Davros. Now, when this was first shown as the prototype, there was a lot of criticism about the wires on his head. Now, yeah, they are a bit big. They don't look as bad as what they did on the prototype image, but for some strange reason, they've painted the bottom ones a bright yellow colour. Why? I have absolutely no idea. It's quite strange. They should be red, or possibly a deep orange, an orangey red, not this sort of bright yellow colour. But really, apart from that, the wires and things aren't as bad as we first thought. So I'll just quickly give you more of a look of this one, because this is obviously the most exciting figure out of this set. Now, the body, the torso, obviously this arm doesn't move, and the articulation is as follows. His head turns slightly. It is hindered by the bit of his neck brace knocking onto the back of his chair. And he has articulation in his right arm, elbow. It does have articulation at the bicep, but it's very stiff to the point where I don't really want to twist it in the fear. Oh no, there we go. I was worried it might snap. There we go, so it does twist. And he's got wrist articulation as well. The torso and the hand are from the Michael Wisher Davros figure, which we've yet to officially see. However, pictures has been leaked recently. So it is kind of like with the Daleks. Character Options are using sort of one base figure and swapping elements of it. So in actual fact, what you've got here is a Michael Wisher Davros base. Why? Because of these little bumper bits, which didn't feature on the other chair, on Terry Malloy's chair, I don't believe. And of course now that's been painted black, as it is in that episode. The chair, or the chariot, depending on what you want to call it. I don't like the idea of calling it a chariot. It's a chair. Is actually based on Resurrection of the Daleks, and I shall show you why in a second. This part of the chair, the circuits and everything, that is removable. You'd have to pull the chair apart and everything and unscrew it all. But that's so you can they can replace the circuit pieces on top and just swap them around. The detail on that is actually very, very nice. You've got the little yellow screen there and all the different buttons and the green switches, and even the little compartment that flips open and Davros takes out the little green syringe thing that he injects in all the people on board the ship and in the Daleks. The element that makes this chair specifically made for Resurrection of the Daleks, which is a very nice feature which I really didn't expect them to do. I'll just move this back. Ta-da! It's the little hatch that Kirsten has to open up and play around with Davros's chair. It's a nice little feature. It's sort of been painted in a black and silver metallic wash, which really highlights all the details of the circuits and the wires. It is really, really cool that they've added that, because they didn't need to do it. And I was a bit worried when I saw it online that that little hatch would be quite noticeable, but actually you can't really tell all that much, especially on camera. You can see it more in the flesh or in the plastic, but otherwise it's not that noticeable. So all in all, I must say that this, for the first Davros, the first classic Davros, it's an excellent figure, and it really is. If you're a fan of that era and you're a fan of Terry Malloy, I love Terry Malloy's Davros. I know people prefer Wisher, and I really do like Wisher as well, but there's something about Terry Malloy that I've always really enjoyed from his performance. He's really good on the audios as well. So, if you're a fan of this story, or if you're a fan of Daleks and Davros, definitely get this set. It's a fantastic set. So, the next review that I shall be doing is the Sontaran Experiment set. That comes with the Sontaran Scout Ship, Steyr, and Fourth Doctor in the big brown duffel coat. Thank you very much for watching this review, guys, and I shall see you next time for the review on the Sontaran Experiment set.